starts right now.
Well, horse carriages will trot into San Antonio's history. The City Council just voted on a 5-year phase-out plan. Well, our City Hall reporter Garrett Berringer is there now. And Garrett, what's it look like?
Well, currently 5 horse carriage companies operate in downtown San Antonio, with allowed to operate up to 5 carriages each. But by January of 2030, all of them will be gone. Now, the city was originally considering a 3-year phase-out plan, but carriage companies said it was too quick and it would cause them financial hardship, and it could end up being that some of the horses would be auctioned off, possibly to meat markets. So in a narrow vote, including a split between the 2 council members who actually pushed for a ban in the first place, the council voted to extend the proposed ban to 5 years. Now, there will be no new permits or medallions issued, and their operating hours will also be reduced over the next 5 years. Ban supporters have cited animal welfare and traffic concerns as the reason to do away with the carriages, while the operators say they've been unfairly maligned and they treat their animals well. Now, the 5-year transition plan was a compromise that the carriage companies pushed for themselves. But afterwards, an attorney representing several of the companies said that they may still explore other options, including legal ones. Now, council members who went for the 5 years said that they know it's not ideal for the carriage companies, but they figured it was more runway for them to offload some of that debt. Meanwhile, one of the most ardent supporters of a ban, Manny Pelaez, had said this was a wet noodle approach and refused to vote on the final 5-year ban, which otherwise passed unanimously. Live outside City Hall, I'm Garrett Berringer, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Garrett, thank you for that live report. And staying with City Council, members also voted to approve nearly $20 million in upgrades and renovations to the Tower of the Americas. An ordinance states that $15.4 million will come from the city and another $4 million from Landry's Restaurants Incorporated, which has a lease with the tower since 2004. That lease will be extended through fiscal year 2025. Well, improvements to the tower will include repairs to the inside and outside of the tower, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and HVAC system improvements, safety and fire prevention upgrades, as well as major upgrades to the Chart House restaurant at the top. The closures will begin in April.
It'll be open during Final Four, and then as soon as Final Four is over, they'll start the work that requires the closure.
Well, the closures are expected to last months, 2 months, and street closures around the outside tower are not expected. Let's look outside our city with live cam. Looking really pretty this afternoon. Nice blue skies.
Beautiful. Another beautiful day here in South Texas. Temperatures in the 60s after what was a cold morning. We did technically get down to freezing, so we had our first freeze of the season, albeit it was just, half an hour. It didn't last very long. It was very brief. But technically, we did hit 32 here in San Antonio. Now we're starting to warm up. Let me show you the low numbers this morning. 32 here in San Antonio, 24 in Kerrville. Definitely cold up in the hill country. 28 Fredericksburg, 32. We did get a freeze for the first time in New Braunfels as well. Gonzales, 32. Del Rio, 39 this morning. As I said, it has warmed up nicely. It's turning into another gorgeous day. 61 degrees at the airport. Humidity is on the increase. Notice the wind. We've got a south-southeasterly wind now at 15 miles per hour. It's going to become gusty this afternoon. But it's that southerly wind that's starting to usher in more moisture, and that's going to have an impact on our forecast going forward. The cold mornings, over. We're going to start to have more humid mornings and the potential for some fog and drizzle next few days. As for today's forecast, I think we may get up to around 65 or so, but look for those clouds to increase tonight, and it's going to be a fairly gray weekend. We'll look at that weekend forecast for you here in just a couple minutes.
Thank you, Justin. Well, now to an update this noon. Police say they have made an arrest after a streak of vandalism left several businesses near a busy intersection northwest of downtown with damage. Well, San Antonio police arrested 33-year-old Luis Arnold Rivera and charged him with 4 counts of criminal mischief. Officers tell us that he was caught on camera throwing rocks and shattering large plate glass windows on several businesses around 2:30 a.m. yesterday. Now, Walmart, McDonald's, Dollar Tree, Bank of America, and Plus Check cashiers, all located near Bandera Road and West Woodlawn Avenue, were among the businesses with broken windows. It's not clear why Rivera went on the destructive rampage. According to the San Antonio Police Department's data, property damage like this is an ongoing problem in this particular area and San Antonio. So police received more than 22,000 reports of vandalism or property damage in the city since January of 2024. Of those, more than 4,000 cases were in SAPD's Western Division, including where the multiple store and vandalism happened. Now, however, the data shows a downward trend in property damage in recent months. A two-vehicle rollover crash along Loop 1604 on the north side led to an intoxication assault charge and briefly closed the highway in both directions late last night. So KSAT told us that around midnight, two cars rolled over on 1604 and Bulverde Road. Officers tell us that both vehicles were traveling eastbound when one vehicle crossed over and collided with the other. So the impact caused one vehicle to roll over into the median, resulting in serious injuries to that driver. The driver in the other vehicle was also taken to the hospital for minor injuries. Police say he was believed to be impaired while driving and was arrested for intoxication assault after he was released from the hospital. Now to an update to that plane crash over in Victoria. The Federal Aviation Administration now says the plane ran out of fuel, and that's when it made an emergency landing. So that plane ended up hitting a light pole and at least two cars. That small plane crashed around 3 yesterday afternoon, and we're told that 3 people were hurt, but they should be okay. So one person was taken to the hospital, and the FAA is reporting that the plane lost radio contact moments before that crash. Well, San Antonio is remembering Rosemary Kowalski. She has a legacy spanning more than 70 years here in San Antonio. Now her family is offering several opportunities for the public to say goodbye. Well, the public is invited to join Kowalski's family at a viewing and rosary service that is happening on December 18th at the San Fernando Cathedral located at 115 Main Plaza. According to Kowalski's obituary, the viewing will be held from noon to 6 p.m. and the rosary will begin at 6 p.m. On December 19th, the public is also invited to attend the funeral mass at 2 p.m. This is happening at the Tobin Center for the Performing Arts located at 100 Auditorium Circle. A live stream of the mass will be available for viewing through RK Group's website. Kowalski's family will hold a celebration of life, which was planned by Rosemary right after the mass. Location will be announced at the end of the event. Now, Kowalski passed away Tuesday following a brief illness. She was named the 2025 Texas Cavaliers River Parade's Grand Marshal last week. Kowalski was 100 years old. The largest breast cancer research conference in the world is happening right here in San Antonio at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, attracting 11,000 doctors, researchers, and patient advocates from about 102 countries. Now, it is put on by UT Health San Antonio's Mays Cancer Center. So the event not only brings in millions of dollars for the city, but it also brings together experts from around the world to share knowledge, learn about new and emerging therapies, collaborate with peers, and inspire the next generation of investigators dedicated to breast cancer research.
Some of the big announcements that we've been able to see are some data from different medications that have been shown to prolong a woman's life. So even if we cannot cure a woman's breast cancer, she will still have a good life and live longer than ever before.
Well, that was Dr. Jessica Trevino-Jones, a breast cancer oncologist at Mays Cancer Center and professor with UT Health San Antonio, says they are seeing more women with breast cancer at a younger age, especially in Hispanic women. She stresses to talk to your primary care doctor about getting screened early, especially if you have a family history. So she says early detection and living a healthy lifestyle is key to beating breast cancer. Well, an Army instructor at Roosevelt High School getting a special introduction. We're going to introduce you to our latest Educator of the Month, still ahead. Well, if you're having a hard time finding the perfect gift for someone who already has it all, how about a donation on their behalf? So right now, the Salvation Army bell ringers are across our community collecting money to continue helping families in need. Well, our Patty Santos is ringing the bell at the Walmart near I-10, and Vance Jackson says she's out there live now. Good afternoon, Patty.
Hi there, guys. You know, there's really no better feeling than the feeling of giving to someone. So we have teamed up with the Salvation Army for a little friendly competition. I want to show you, this is our kettle here. Isn't it cute? It's adorable, right? And here is how your donations are used. About $50 donation provides shelter and food for a single mom for 3-4 a day. The money is also used to shelter the homeless, provide summer camps for underprivileged kids, and they help struggling veterans with rent. Salvation Army Commander Captain Josh Robinette is here to tell us about a match that starts tomorrow.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow. We have a very generous donor who has given us $50,000 energy transfer, $50,000 of matching funds. That starts Friday and Saturday. So every dollar given becomes $2. $10 becomes $20. You can maximize your impact thanks to this generous donation. And we really want to encourage people to come out and volunteer and make contributions these next 2 days.
And this is the QR code right behind you for volunteers, because you were telling me that volunteers are really low this year. And in about a week, we're going to have a lot of teenagers with a lot of time in their hands.
And lots of opportunities to ring a bell for the Salvation Army and to make an impact in their community. So they can either scan the QR codes that they see at these sites, or they can go to registertoring.com, select a location and time, and our team will meet you out there. We need some help, folks. We want to reach that $50,000 match, so come on out, volunteer, and contribute.
All right, and if you want to help the KSAT team in this friendly competition, there is a QR code right there on your screen. We have a story on our website that will take you directly to how you can donate. And we want to say thank you to everyone who's already passed by this morning. We've been ringing the bell here for a couple of hours, and a lot of you have given every little bit counts.
Absolutely.
We'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Patty. What a nice day to be doing that this afternoon. Not too bad.
Not at all. Now that the sun has come up, we're starting to get the warmth of the day, and it feels really, really nice outside. Let's check it on the aquifer. We're still struggling there. You know, I'll show you the drop monitor coming up after the break, but it's not a great situation. We're at 626.5. Still could use a little bit of rain, and there's a little bit in the forecast. As far as pollen count is concerned, it was just molds today. They're low at 120, so thankful to see that as we get a little closer to mountain cedar season. We'll look ahead to the weekend. We'll talk about our rain chances. As we said, the clouds, too, they'll be here this weekend. Forecast is coming up.
Finally feels like Christmas, you know, weather-wise. And some people this morning were like, whoa, maybe it's a little too cold.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You know, we had 2 mornings in a row here where we were flirting with freezing. This morning, we actually did get there for, like half an hour. So technically speaking, we did get a freeze here in San Antonio. But it was very brief, very light. Surrounding areas did see a little bit colder temperatures. But now we start the warming up process. I start, though, with the drop monitor because, we can talk about temperatures all day long, but it's really the rain that is most important to us at this point. We really do need some rain. The drop monitor came in this morning, and it basically shows the same situation we've been dealing with for so very long here, but it is starting to get worse again. So this red color represents extreme drought. Okay, so you got 5 categories here, and this is a 4 out of 5. And I put the rivers over top of it to let you know the Guadalupe River runs through this area, the Medina River, the Frio River. So these are all areas that are struggling when it comes to this drought. And what does extreme drought mean? Well, in general, you got an increased fire risk. You got low river flow. That much we know for sure. There can be some impacts to animals. You get the sort of the cracks in the soil, and it's just overall not a great situation. So what about rain chances? Do we have them coming up? And we do, but they're not huge. Just a very small chance Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that really, I think, is going to be in the form of some mist and drizzles. So that doesn't add up to much, right, in the rain gauge. There could be a stray shower or two any one of those days. Then on Monday, front comes through. That may kick up a little better chance for a shower storm still. I don't think it's going to be a large amount of rain. That's also the case on Wednesday. Both of these fronts, by the way, aren't terribly strong. So there's not going to be a lot of forcing going on with these fronts, but we do get to bring the rain chances up at least a little bit. Going outside for you, some thin high clouds out there, but otherwise, really nice day. 61 degrees at the airport, 64 New Braunfels, 63 Converse, 57 right now, Bernie, the cool spot. But notice the winds. They have switched around now to the south, almost southeast, and we're starting to see some pretty stout southerly winds. So winds are going to be breezy later this afternoon, but this is starting to bring up this number, the humidity. And with the added humidity, we'll start to see some added clouds, and our overall pattern just changes. Basically, one air mass is being replaced by another. We had a pretty chilly air mass in place, but now the Gulf is starting to open back up, and that changes everything. Still really cold, though, as you get up to parts of Minnesota. It's 1. They were at -11 earlier today, so that cold air will kind of shift east, but away from us. Satellite picture. You see the clouds here, and this is always a good indication of where the moisture is. So we have some clouds out in the Gulf of Mexico, but also starting to see some develop along the coast, and that's that influx of moisture. And you look at the forecast, and it does bring in some of these low clouds. We bring in some high clouds this afternoon, so skies will start to cloud up a little bit, and then by tonight, we just go overcast. And tomorrow morning, I think we start off with fog and drizzle. And this is going to be the case basically Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning too. Kind of the same idea as this deeper moisture works in. And yes, it could be a shower or two as well. Winds, as I said, increase today. By the time we get into the afternoon, we're seeing gusts 20 to 25 out of the south. And it'll be somewhat breezy tonight too. But the dew points increase. We go from dew points in 30s and 40s all the way up to dew points in the 50s. And that is that humidity coming back in a big way. 70 tomorrow, lots of clouds, 75 Saturday, 78 Sunday, and then 75 Monday as that first front comes in, brings a little better chance of rain, and maybe cools us down just a little bit. And then we'll see again another front on Wednesday, which also brings a small chance for rain. Steph.
Thank you, Justin. Well, again, here at KSAT, we make it a point to recognize our local educators each month during the school year. And coming up, we're going to introduce you to KSAT's Educator of the Month for December, who's been leading JROT students for almost 17 years now.
Educator of the Month, brought to you by First Mark Credit Union.
Well, every month during the school year, KSAT and First Mark Credit Union, they honor educators who give so much to our students in our community. So this month, we are recognizing Command Sergeant Major Ansley Harris, who is an Army instructor at Roosevelt High School for the Junior ROTC Rough Rider Battalion. Now, he's been leading high school students through JROTC programs in our area for almost 17 years now. And he tells us he's very proud of his students.
Very good. Step.
Command Sergeant Major Harris, sorry to disturb you.
How are you?
You are this month's Educator of the Month. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We wanted to surprise you. Cheers from the Junior ROTC students at Roosevelt High School as we surprised Command Sergeant Major Ansley Harris with KSAT's Educator of the Month Award.
Well, this is great. This is great. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. This is why I do it every day, right here. I do it for them, and that's why I get up every morning to come and mentor, coach, and train them. I appreciate that very much.
Command Sergeant Major Harris served 28 years in the Army.
Command Sergeant Major. Can you recite the Cadet Creed?
And has been the Army instructor at Roosevelt for the JROTC Rough Rider Battalion program since 2017.
Third ranks, one step forward, march.
However, he's been guiding JROTC students in the San Antonio area for almost 17 years now.
I had to take a job. I started in the district in 2008 at Reagan High School and went to Wagner High School. Once my kids graduated, I came back to the district. Loved it. This is our armed drill team last year at our 5th Brigade competition.
And his love for teaching and mentoring shows. Sophomore Andres Noguera credits Harris for how much he has grown with the program and tells us he has a lot of respect for him.
This man is like a dad to me. You can talk to him about anything, I swear. And he's always there for us, for the team. So I see we win a lot. This team wins a lot. I'm part of the San Juan Guard drill team. Last year we went to nationals. He is the reason we went, basically. He is super responsible. He's like a great example for what I want to do when I grow up.
The kids put in a lot of time to get ready for the competitions. We're the best in the country in our JRTC program with our extracurricular activities, so we do quite well. I'm very proud of all our kids and what they do.
And it's not just about the competitions. Command Sergeant Major Harris says he wants all his students to carry those leadership skills with them well beyond high school.
What we need to do is set them up for success no matter where they go. Workforce, armed services, colleges, so we try to give them those leadership intangibles that they can use no matter what they do in life.
How'd they do? How'd they do? Good job. Very good. Smart kids. They're on it.
We're learning more about the suspect in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson as law enforcement officials warn about potential copycats targeting other healthcare executives. I'm Rena Roy, and I'll have the latest coming up.
Let's look out there with live cam this afternoon. What a nice day to run errands or maybe just have lunch outside in the 60s.
Sounds nice. This is that time of year where we get just perfect weather. Yes, it was cold this morning for sure, but with temperatures in the 60s now, it's close to ideal outside. We've got mostly clear skies, Joe. I want to show you the current readings. Sitting at 61 here in San Antonio. Most of us are in the 60s at this hour with a few 50s up across parts of Bulverde and Comfort, which stands to reason. Those are areas that were in the 20s earlier this morning, but now have rebounded in a big way. We have mostly clear skies right now, but as I said, by late tonight, we're going to see clouds really start to increase. Humidity increases, and that means there's a chance for fog and drizzle Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As you plan out your weekend, know that it's going to be fairly gray. You may have to dodge some damp weather during the morning hours. Nothing that's going to be very heavy, but you know the drill here. Mist and drizzle, it can kind of interrupt early morning plans if you have them. Temperatures will be in the 70s all 3 days as we head into the weekend. I want to show you the big picture here. And you can see we got some high clouds streaming in from the west. We got some low clouds that eventually will work their way up from the Gulf of Mexico. So that's why cloud cover is on the increase. We got some storm systems that will head our way. The big question, I think, is will we see rain? We'll take another look at that forecast for you coming up in just a couple minutes.
Thank you, Justin. Well, now to a holiday scam alert for pet owners. So scammers are lurking to find ways to take advantage of the love you have for your furry family member. Now, they're doing it through spoofing calls. So it's a scam that happens year-round all over the country. However, San Antonio Animal Care Services tell us that they particularly see an uptick in this crime during the holiday season.
Scammers are able to use a technology that basically makes it appear as if when they call someone, they're calling from an animal care services phone number. The point is that they're trying to obviously scam people and give them a fake story, feed them a line, and get some money out of it.
Well, ACS says that if a phone call sounds strange, verify the call by asking specific questions about your pet. Only a person who saw it would know how to answer. So contact the organization directly through their official website, social media, or by calling another official number. And a big red flag when someone demands money from you, asking for Cash App or a gift card. Well, neighborhoods in the Floresville area are continuing their battle with the private company that owns their water wells. Our Courtney Friedman has been reporting on it for about over a month now, and most recently about a filtration system that was removed from the well in 2021. So she now has new details from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality that could go against what the company told us about why they didn't replace that filter. The bottom line seems to be the money.
Neighbors in the Arrowhead subdivision have been getting brown or overly chlorinated water they say got worse since the company CSWR took over. CSWR confirmed it took a filtration system off the well in 2021 because it was old and inefficient. They replaced it with what's called a polymer feed system, which adds a solution that pulls minerals out of the water. But that's not the same type of filtration system neighbors have asked for, saying their water was way better with the filter on the well.
We know the filtration system worked before, because a lot of us have been out here for a while.
When we asked why the filter wasn't replaced, CSWR told us their original plan was a replacement of the existing sand filter system. While attempting to get the permit, CSWR Texas was informed by TCEQ that the permit could not be issued because the plan wasn't compliant. So they had to explore other options. So we asked TCEQ why they denied their permit, and they said they didn't, telling us, quote, the TCEQ Water Supply Division does not have a record of denying the submittal of plans and specifications for a sand filter. TCEQ also said while groundwater systems are not required to use sand filters, CSWR can propose a new treatment system like a sand filter if it helps them achieve their water quality goals.
I welcome them to come and get a glass, and I'll send them a bottle, give it to their children or give it to their elderly.
So I reached back out to CSWR with that information from TCEQ and asked, will you consider putting the filtration system back on the well, since now it looks like you're allowed to?
CSWR said the type of filter they took off the well no longer met water standards, but then said, in terms of a plan to upgrade to a newer version of the sand filtration system, sand filters in general tend to be problematic for long-term maintenance and do not function as efficiently. So they put in that different system, which residents say has not helped at all. After complaints and KSAT stories, 3 weeks ago, CSWR added flushers to the well, which reduced some of the sediment. They say, though, it can take a while to see the results.
But the flushers are not filters.
So if it doesn't work, will they put a new filter on? They said the reason to avoid installing a filtration system where they aren't absolutely necessary is the high operational cost to maintain and operate filter systems, which create larger rate impacts. CSWR is considering a variety of types of filters as an option for this system. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Well, President Joe Biden is using his presidential clemency power just weeks before the end of his term. He will commute the sentences for about 1,500 individuals. They all faced long sentences and were placed on home confinement during the COVID pandemic. 39 people who were convicted of nonviolent crimes are also being pardoned. Biden says his administration is still reviewing clemency petitions. More pardons and commutations could be coming in the weeks ahead. The United Nations General Assembly has voted for an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire in Gaza and for all hostages being held in Palestine to be released. The resolution was backed by 158 members. It was rejected by 9 members, including Israel and the United States. Well, U.S. Ambassador Robert Wood said the resolution won't completely resolve the conflict in the region. He added it also doesn't place enough pressure on Hamas. Last month, a similar resolution was vetoed by the U.S. at the UN Security Council. Although General Assembly resolutions are not binding, they do provide insight into worldwide opinions. Well, it appears an American man has been discovered after allegedly being held in captivity in Syria. ABC News is reporting that officials believe this could be Travis Pete Timmerman. As ABC's Perry Russin reports, he disappeared from Hungary early this year.
What's your name?
Travis. A new video appears to show the discovery of an American in Syria, allegedly freed from Assad captivity. The man in the video says his name is Travis.
Country.
United States.
United States?
The United States. Another video appears to show the same man resting on a mattress under a blanket. Sources tell ABC News the U.S. believes this could be Travis Pete Timmerman. Today, Timmerman's mother confirming this is her son.
I was imprisoned in a cell by myself, and in the early morning of this Monday, or the Monday of this week, they took a hammer and they broke my door down.
Police in Budapest releasing pictures from when Timmerman went missing in Hungary earlier this year. His apparent discovery in Syria said to be a surprise.
In terms of an American citizen who was found just today, I can't give you any details on exactly what's going to happen except to say that we're working to bring him home.
Thousands of prisoners have been freed after Syria's brutal dictator Bashar al-Assad was overthrown. Gruesome pictures of the dead cover the walls outside a prison. Syrians search for what happened to their loved ones. ABC's James Longman is there.
Abdullah was told his brother had died in 2016, but he hasn't had any other information since. He does have a new photo, and now he's coming along to the wall to see if he can identify his brother.
The State Department says it is tracking a handful of cases of dual American citizens who were held captive in Syria, but they are believed to be dead. Perry Russin, ABC News, Washington.
Well, authorities are eager to get Luigi Mangione back to New York after charging him with murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Mangione fighting extradition from Pennsylvania, where he was arrested and initially charged with gun and forgery offenses. Now, according to investigators, Mangione's fingerprints match a water bottle and snack wrapper near the shooting, and the gun found in his possession matches shell casings at the scene. The NYPD is now expressing concern that Thompson's alleged killer could be seen as a martyr. So GoFundMe has repeatedly shut down fundraisers seeking money for Mangione's defense. U.S. Food and Drug Administration has proposed a rule that could lower the amount of nicotine in tobacco products. The FDA has been developing the rule since 2022, which would require tobacco companies to reduce the amount of nicotine in traditional cigarettes. The agency submitted the proposal to the Office of Management and Budget on Tuesday. Now, there won't be any immediate changes to tobacco products. The Office of Management and Budget's approval process could take months. There will also be a public comment period on that proposal. It's also not clear what the FDA will do with such a proposal under President-elect Donald Trump. Countdown is on to Christmas. We're now just days away, and while there'll be a lot on your to-do list, you should add one more, and that is self-care, how to reduce holiday stress this season. And there's still time to finish your holiday shopping, but if you need to mail out any gifts, that window is closing. Shipping deadlines to keep in mind after the break. Well, a heads up for people who still need to send out those holiday packages. You are running out of time to get things to your loved ones by Christmas. So December 18th is the last day for USPS basic ground delivery. Priority deliveries can be sent by the 21st and still make it by Christmas. If you're using the basic shipping plan, UPS says December 15th is the last day to send something and have it delivered by Christmas. So it's December 13th for FedEx, which is tomorrow. And of course, if you don't send your packages by these dates, you can pay more for expedited shipping. It already feels like Christmas, but really cold this morning. Makes you feel like maybe almost snow, but no, I guess just the first time for freezing at least.
Yes. Yeah, temperatures actually got down to 32, Steph, here in San Antonio. It was a cold morning. We got clear skies as we look out over the airport. Very quickly, I want to take you to 410 and Morrison Boulevard. It looks like, I know the camera's really shaking. Yeah. That's the gusty winds that we have. But 410, this is westbound, shut down right here for not sure what reason, but it is backing up traffic. So I'm going to let you know that is down on the south side there along 410. Meantime, as I said, 32 this morning, 61 the high so far. The averages are 65 and 43. And we'll actually be right around average today for a high temperature. And it gets warmer, more humid too, maybe some rain chances to talk about as well. We'll discuss coming up.
So for the fans of the colder weather, we had a couple of really cold mornings, but now things are going to change for the people who don't like that super cold weather.
Yes, if you like humidity and warmer weather, we've got it for you. That's how December rolls, is we get a little bit of everything every week because, we got fronts and it goes back and forth. But we are now doing the yo-yo thing, and we're going to head back to more humid, cloudy, warm weather. So let me show you the big picture here. I think this will give you some insight on what's headed our way. You look out to the west, and we've got high clouds that are streaming in from the Pacific. So that's your high level moisture. And those are the thin clouds. Usually don't do a lot for us, but we're going to see more and more of those as the day wears on. Then you'll notice down here along the Texas coast that we're starting to see some cumulus clouds develop, and that is indicative of more moisture. We're starting to see more humidity stream in there in the valley and into South Texas, and that's going to work in our direction too. So you got the high clouds, the low clouds, and that means it's going to be fairly cloudy by the time we get into tonight and certainly over the next couple days. Dew points. Across the country, we had a dry, cold air mass that was in place. You got dew points in the negative numbers up there across parts of Minnesota. Chicago has a dew point of -6, and that dry air worked all the way down into South Texas. Well, now that air mass is getting replaced by one that has a lot of humidity coming off the Gulf of Mexico, and so that's going to shove that colder, drier air away, and then hence our changes in our forecast. Let's look at the futurecast dew points here, and you'll see that by Friday morning, we've got dew points in the mid-50s, so that is a big change. We started off with dew points in the 20s this morning, and this really does make a big difference. And then by the time we get into, say, late Friday and into Saturday morning, we've got dew points in the 60s, so that's more spring-like, and that means it's going to be pretty sticky outside most of the weekend. This is also going to lead to fog, drizzle, all that sort of thing, because you get this influx of moisture and the dew point gets close to the temperature, and that results in some patchy fog and Oftentimes some mist and drizzle. As we go outside for you, though, right now, mostly clear skies and just a gorgeous day. 61 degrees at the airport, 64 in New Braunfels, 63 Converse, still some 50s in Boerne, but you'll be in the 60s soon. Stinson is checking in at 64 this afternoon, and everyone's reporting a pretty gusty wind at this point, and that's going to continue. We'll see gusts probably in the range of 20 to 25. This particular model shows that all the way into tonight, and really it could be the evening hours where we see winds kind of peak. But with stronger winds, more humidity, more cloud cover, temperatures are going to be much warmer tonight into tomorrow morning than they were this morning. We may tack on 20 to 30 degrees in some cases. So 65 at 3 o'clock, by 6 p.m. 63, 60 at 7 p.m. and then we're starting to see those clouds really increase, mid-50s there in the area with south-southeasterly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. There are the low clouds coming in tonight. Again, some of the high clouds streaming in, and then by tomorrow we're cloudy with that fog and drizzle likely. And I just don't know that we're going to see a ton of sun over the next several days. I think skies are going to stay fairly cloudy. So 70 tomorrow, 75 Saturday. We'll go 78 Sunday. Still some morning fog and drizzle on Monday too before a front tries to move through. And that brings a small chance of rain with it. This one looks pretty weak, drops us into the 60s, and then maybe another stronger front Wednesday that will drop temperatures again and bring another small chance for rain. Stephanie.
All right, we need that rain. Thank you, Justin. Well, parents may be feeling the pressure this season to have a picture-perfect holiday that can lead to a lot of stress. Why it's important to manage that stress, not just for yourself, but also for your children. Well, parental stress pretty high, and the holidays can bring even more anxiety. So part of the reason this time of year, some parents feel that everything has to be perfect. Well, mental health experts tell parents to give themselves some grace because not everything is going to be picture perfect. Reflect on what is important to you and what traditions really matter to you. So Dr. Ann Catherine Iselt with the Teladoc Health says it's not about material things. It's about feelings and emotions that bring us joy.
One thing that is really important to remember is that children learn from observing us, right? They observe how we show up, how we deal with the stress, what we make a priority, what we make as like the most important part of being together. So being present, maybe this is the perfect time to not spend on the screen, to just be able to sit together, to focus on connection, conversation, shared activities.
Well, if you feel like you're getting overwhelmed by stress, you need to take some time for yourself. Get out more often and set some boundaries and learn to say no to certain things. Well, the Judson ISD School Board is looking for ways to cut costs and use underutilized buildings. However, the changes could mean that students and faculty members go to other campuses. Now, a family that could be directly impacted told Arzaria Oates that this feels like an attack.
Middle school is hard. And for this Judson ISD family, it could get a little harder. The Judson School Board met to discuss recommendations from its Growth and Planning Committee. Several big changes could go into effect by next school year. One of those changes could be phasing out the Spanish immersion program at Wortham Elementary.
Please not take the Spanish immersion program away. Por favor, no cortes este programa. Gracias.
Several students spoke out against any changes to the program and how it currently operates, considering it sets their elementary school apart from others. Coronado Village elementary students and the dual language program could be moving to the newly built Selma Elementary School, and Judson Middle School's competitive to enter JSTEM program could be moving to Kitty Hawk Middle School. That would be along with the students and teachers in the program.
We have lunch with these kids, and we're with them and we're friends with them, and it's just, if you separate us from that, it's like taking us away from part of our family.
Mercedes Weekland is a 7th grade JSTEM student. She's part of the program inside of Judson Middle School, and the year the changes are set to take place will be her 8th grade year, and it could be without the students and teachers she's come to know at Judson Middle School. The purpose of the move to Kitty Hawk Middle School is to balance out the number of students at each school because of low enrollment at Kitty Hawk. Mercedes' mom says she understands the reasoning, but that the consequences outweigh any positive results.
My concern is for the students
that would be moving away from electives, teachers, band, athletics, all the different things that they have, worked really hard to, reach the places that they're at. And then if they move over to a new middle school, they're going to lose all of that.
Changes aren't official yet, but the emotions behind what could be are already settling in.
The thought of it gives me really bad anxiety, and I know that it gives my friends really bad anxiety too.
Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
Well, the Judson ISD School Board will have a regular scheduled meeting next week, Thursday on December 19th, and they are set as of right now to make a decision about these recommendations during that meeting.
Right, temperatures are warming up. We'll make our way up to 65 later today. Mostly sunny and breezy, but expect those clouds to roll in tonight. It'll be cloudy tomorrow and mostly cloudy Saturday and Sunday. Patches of morning drizzle and fog. So just a very different situation that we dealt with the last couple of days. But we did officially have our first freeze this morning for at least a brief time.
For the cold weather fans.
Yes.
That's good for the month of December.
Yeah.
And good this weekend for the break that some people will have.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today.